Picture this. You wake up one morning, brew your favorite cup of coffee, and lift it to your nose. But wait, nothing. No familiar aroma, just air. Or worse, your favorite meal, once so delicious, now smells rancid, smoky, or metallic. At first, you might think it's nothing, maybe just allergies, a cold, or even a sign of getting older. But what if this subtle change is actually your brain trying to send an early distress signal, one that could appear years before any noticeable memory loss? A groundbreaking 2022 study published in the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease found that individuals who struggle to identify specific scents are 2.2 times more likely to develop dementia within the next few years. That's a risk factor as serious as high blood pressure or diabetes. Yet, almost no one talks about it. What's even more concerning is a 2017 study in JAMA Neurology, which followed nearly 3,000 adults over 65. It revealed that those who failed a simple smell test were nearly twice as likely to develop dementia within 5 years. At the time, their memory was still sharp, but their sense of smell had already started to fade, a silent, invisible warning sign. You see, your sense of smell is closely tied to the hippocampus, the brain's memory powerhouse. And this is one of the first regions to deteriorate in Alzheimer's and other dementias. So, changes in your sense of smell aren't just harmless quirks of aging. They could be one of the earliest red flags for cognitive decline. The scariest part, by the time memory problems become noticeable, the damage could have been developing for years, sometimes decades. In today's video, we're counting down 8 strange but crucial smell-related warning signs of dementia, starting with the more common ones and ending with the rarest and most overlooked. Just the first one alone has been linked to faster brain deterioration, an increased risk of Alzheimer's, and even a shocking 79% acceleration in cognitive decline. If you recognize any of these changes in yourself or someone you care about, time is of the essence. Stick around until the end, because I'll also share critical steps you can take to slow down or even prevent this process before it's too late. Ready? Let's dive in. Number 1. A sulfur or burning flesh smell that isn't real. This might just be the most bizarre and unsettling olfactory symptom linked to dementia, and it's one of the rarest yet also one of the most overlooked. Some people with early neurodegeneration experience a phenomenon known as phantasmia, where they detect strong, non-existent smells like rotten eggs, burnt rubber, or even burning flesh. This disturbing phantom odor is often associated with dysfunction in the frontal lobe, the area of the brain responsible for memory and decision-making. A 2023 study published in Brain and Behavior found that dementia patients who reported smelling sulfur-like odors that weren't actually there had a 79% increased risk of rapid cognitive decline compared to those who didn't experience these phantom smells. Researchers believe that as brain regions responsible for sensory processing deteriorate, the sense of smell can become distorted, producing exaggerated or distressing odors. One shocking case involved a 76-year-old man who repeatedly complained about smelling something burning whenever he was near his wife or children. At first, he thought it was something from the kitchen, his clothing, or even his own skin. But over time, the smell grew stronger, and he began to feel disoriented, forgetting where he was in familiar places. Within a year, he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. His neurologist noted that his phantom smell might have been an early warning sign of brain deterioration. If you or someone you love starts frequently smelling something sulfuric or other strange odors that aren't real, it's important to pay attention. This could be one of the first signs that something is amiss with your brain health. Number 2. The scent of something sweet, but no one else smells it. One of the strangest and often most overlooked early warning signs of dementia is the perception of phantom sweet smells. People often describe these as the scent of overripe fruit, caramel, or sometimes an overpowering, sickly sweet chemical odor. In a 2022 study published in the Journal of Neurodegenerative Disorders, researchers found that some patients in the early stages of Alzheimer's reported smelling unexplained sweet scents, even when there were no sweets around. This phenomenon is thought to be caused by damage to the temporal lobe, the area of the brain responsible for both processing smells and storing memories. Unlike other distorted smells, such as those caused by sinus infections or allergies, these sweet phantom odors are usually linked to cognitive decline. If your brain begins to misfire and create an illusion of sweetness, it could be a neurological warning sign rather than just a random sensory quirk. One chilling case involved a 75-year-old woman who began to frequently smell vanilla or honey in empty rooms. Her doctors initially dismissed it as a benign sensory issue. However, within 2 years, she was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's. Looking back, her neurologist realized that these phantom sweet smells might have been one of the earliest signs of neurodegeneration. So, if you start to notice a non-existent sweet scent that no one else detects, it's worth paying attention to. It could be time to consider your cognitive health more seriously. Number 3. Faint or no smell at all. Losing your ability to detect smells entirely may be one of the strongest predictors of dementia. In fact, many studies have suggested that smell loss is a more reliable indicator of cognitive decline than traditional memory tests. As we discussed earlier, a 2017 study following 3,000 seniors over 65 found that those who failed a simple smell test were twice as likely to develop dementia within 5 years. The test asked participants to identify common scents, like lemon, peppermint, and rose, and those who struggled had a significantly higher likelihood of developing Alzheimer's. Why is the loss of smell such a powerful predictor? The olfactory bulb, the part of the brain responsible for processing smells, is directly connected to the hippocampus, the region crucial for memory. As dementia begins to develop, the olfactory nerve is often one of the first areas affected, long before memory issues start to show. If you suddenly notice that familiar scents like flowers, food, or even the scent of your own home seem to fade or become non-existent, it could be an early sign of cognitive decline. Unlike temporary smell loss from a cold or sinus infection, smell loss related to dementia is progressive and doesn't come back. So, if you notice persistent or worsening smell loss, it's critical to get evaluated. Number 4. Phantom metallic or rusty smell that won't go away. A persistent metallic or rusty odor could be another sign of serious neurological changes in the brain. This symptom, although less common, is particularly alarming because it often signals significant dysfunction in the brain, linked to conditions such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or even vascular dementia. A 2018 study in neurobiology of aging found that individuals with early cognitive impairment often struggled to differentiate metallic smells, frequently misidentifying them as something else. Some patients reported smelling rust, blood, or metal shavings, even when there was no source for the smell. Scientists suspect that these phantom metallic odors may be related to oxidative stress in the brain, a process in which neurons are damaged due to an imbalance of free radicals. As this damage accumulates, the brain's ability to process sensory signals properly declines, leading to distorted sensory experiences, including phantom smells like metal. One particularly striking case involved a 74-year-old man who frequently complained about smelling something metallic or rusty, but there was no source for the odor. Over time, his condition worsened, and he was eventually diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's. Number 5. A strong ammonia or urine-like smell when it's not there. If you frequently notice an unexplained ammonia-like scent or a strong urine smell, even though there's no clear source, it could be more than just a minor annoyance. It might indicate neurological decline. This unusual sensory distortion has been reported in patients with early Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Clinical Neuroscience found that older adults with worsening olfactory function, especially those reporting phantom chemical or urine-like smells, had a 65% higher risk of developing dementia within 3 years. Scientists believe this occurs because the olfactory bulb, which processes smell, is one of the first areas in the brain to suffer damage as neurodegeneration sets in. Initially, this problem can be subtle. You might catch a faint ammonia scent in a clean bathroom, or feel like your clothes have a lingering odor even after washing them. But over time, this misinterpretation of smells can become more pronounced, making even familiar environments feel unpleasant. A case in point is a 72-year-old woman who frequently complained of a strong urine-like smell in her home, even though there was no actual odor present. Her family initially dismissed it, thinking it was just a harmless quirk. However, a year later, she began showing signs of cognitive impairment and was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's. If you find yourself constantly detecting phantom ammonia or urine smells, it's a sign that something may be affecting your brain's sensory pathways. What can you do about it? The good news is that scientific research shows up to 50% of dementia cases could be prevented or delayed by making key lifestyle changes. A 2020 study published in The Lancet identified modifiable risk factors that significantly lower dementia risk. Managing blood pressure and blood sugar levels is crucial. For instance, people with high blood pressure in midlife have a 60% higher risk of dementia, and diabetes increases that risk by a staggering 73%. So, controlling these conditions is one of the first steps toward protecting your cognitive health. In addition to medical management, staying active is essential. Aim for at least 20 minutes of moderate exercise each day, whether that's brisk walking, swimming, or resistance training. Prioritize quality sleep too. People who sleep fewer than 6 hours a night are at higher risk of dementia, so aim for 7 to 9 hours of restful sleep. Engaging in brain-stimulating activities like puzzles, reading, learning a new language, or playing an instrument can also strengthen neural connections. Social connections are just as important for your brain health. By engaging in regular conversations, joining community activities, or staying in touch with loved ones through video chats, you keep your mind sharp and active. Additionally, eating a brain-boosting diet rich in leafy greens, berries, nuts, whole grains, and fatty fish can reduce inflammation and protect your brain cells. Avoid ultra-processed foods, sugary drinks, and trans fats, as they can increase memory loss and promote brain shrinkage. By making these lifestyle changes, you can cut your dementia risk in half, ensuring a healthy brain for years to come. Number 6. A phantom smoky or burnt smell that won't go away. Experiencing a persistent smoky or charred odor when nothing is burning can be a subtle but significant warning sign of cognitive decline. This is another example of phantasmia, where the brain generates distorted smells that don't have a physical source. The sensation of smelling smoke or burning could indicate dysfunction in the brain's sensory processing centers, often linked to early stages of dementia, including Alzheimer's. Number 7. Musty or moldy smell that no one else notices. If you frequently smell a musty, damp, or moldy odor in places that are clean, it could be an early warning sign of neurodegenerative disease. A 2020 study published in Neurobiology of Disease found that individuals with mild cognitive impairment often reported experiencing phantom earthy or damp smells, even in completely clean environments. Researchers suspect that this happens because the olfactory pathways in the brain begin to deteriorate, causing false sensory signals. One real-life case involved a 69-year-old woman who was convinced that her house always smelled moldy, despite repeated cleanings. Over time, she began to experience mild confusion and difficulty remembering recent events. 2 years later, she was diagnosed with early-stage dementia. If you find yourself frequently smelling musty, damp, or mold-like odors in areas that are free from mold, it could be more than just heightened sensitivity. This may be an early neurological warning sign. Number 8. A distorted, rotten, or decaying food smell that isn't real. A phantom smell of spoiled meat or rotting food is a major red flag, especially if it occurs frequently. But it's not just about detecting genuinely bad odors. It's about the brain misinterpreting normal, harmless smells as something foul. A 2021 study in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that individuals with declining olfactory function were significantly more likely to be diagnosed with dementia within 5 years. Researchers discovered that some patients experienced parosmia, where pleasant smells suddenly seemed unpleasant. For example, someone might open a container of fresh fruit and immediately smell something rancid, or fresh coffee, bread, or even perfume might take on a putrid odor. This happens because the olfactory pathways in the brain are deteriorating, causing distorted sensory processing. Scientists believe that this could be linked to beta amyloid plaques, sticky protein deposits that accumulate in the brains of Alzheimer's patients. These plaques damage the olfactory nerve, leading to warped perceptions of smell. If familiar scents suddenly start to smell rotten, it's not just an odd experience, it could be an early warning sign of deeper neurological issues. If you or someone you know begins noticing strange, unexplained smells, especially ones that linger without a clear source, it's crucial to pay attention. Medical research has shown that smell testing is a powerful tool for detecting early cognitive decline, often years before noticeable memory problems appear. In fact, some hospitals have already incorporated these tests into Alzheimer's screenings, recognizing their ability to identify neurological changes in the earliest stages. Unusual odors that only you can detect may signal deeper issues with how your brain processes sensory information. Pay attention to whether the experience is occasional or recurring, and ask those around you if they notice the same thing. If they don't, it's a clear sign that your brain might be misinterpreting sensory signals. Keep an eye out for other subtle changes, like increased forgetfulness, trouble recognizing faces, or difficulty focusing. Seeking a professional evaluation, including a smell test from a neurologist, could offer valuable early insights and intervention opportunities before symptoms progress. That's a wrap for today's video. If you found this information insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on the latest health discoveries. Protecting your brain starts now, so let's stay proactive together. Thanks for watching Health Horizon, and I'll see you in the next video.